Last letter she will write this evening. The honeyed ink has nearly dried, but its scent remains a sweet, lingering promise. She seals it with care, pressing the wax stamp gently onto the parchment. Lady Elsbeth rises slowly and moves to the window. Outside, the world awakens softly. Chirping of birds, the gentle rustle of leaves, the distant murmur of a flowing stream. All of it speaks in the language of peace. In the language of quiet love, she thinks of Seelan the knight, who once rode beyond the hills and into the unknown. Though the world may never hear his reply, she understands now that silence is not absence, it is presence. It is the loudest answer, the deepest conversation between souls. Her voice, barely a whisper, floats into the stillness. Silence holds all the words we never say. It holds our hopes, our fears, our love. In silence we find the strength to carry on. As you listen, you too can let your heart rest in this silence. Let go of the noise, the worries, the day's burdens. Allow the calm to fill you, to soothe you, to carry you gently into dreams. Know that in this quiet you are heard, you are loved, you are safe. Now take one last deep breath, soft and slow. Let your body melt into comfort. Let your mind drift. On the gentle waves of this story, wrapped in the hush of the night, Kamoshi Sab's Bulan Jawab Hodi Hai, silence is the loudest answer. Good night, sleep well, asterisk, asterisk. Title, Kamoshi Sab's Bulan Jawab Hodi Hai style, ASMR. Sleep story, gentle medieval emotional whispered atmosphere tone, soft, calming deeply, immersed, savor. It's time now, time to let everything fall away. Close your eyes, let your breath soften, let your thoughts drift like dandelion seeds on a summer wind. You are safe here, you are warm here, there is nothing to chase, nothing to fix. Nothing to say. Tonight we sail on a story that glows like candlelight and settles like snowflakes upon the heart. A tale where silence speaks louder than thunder. Stillness becomes the strongest reply of all. Can you feel the hush? That soft rustling in the dark. That is not just wind, it's memory. And in that memory lives a woman. Her name was Lady Elsbeth. Each twilight. As the sky blushed violet, and the sparrows tucked themselves into the hedgerows, Lady Elsbeth would sit at her writing desk by the leaded glass window. Her hands were pale and sure, her posture noble yet fragile like a branch dipped in frost upon the desk, parchment dried with crushed rose petals, ink made not of coal or soot, but of honey, gallnuts, and clove. A medieval recipe said to preserve secrets and perhaps even dreams. She would dip her quill slowly, reverently. Her fingers always trembled a little with the first stroke. But then her words would pour like warm tea, smooth and slow. She wrote to a knight, a man who had ridden far beyond the hills many seasons ago. Some said he was gone, some said he had fallen, but else. She never stopped writing. Not because she expected him to return, but because some things must be said, even when no one is left to hear them. She would begin each letter the same. My dearest, the sky tonight is the color of your old cloak. You remember the one, faded indigo, worn at the elbows? Yeah. The one you said made you feel invisible in moonlight? And then the ink would dance. She would tell him of the orchard's first bloom, of the falcon that nested on the chapel's spire, of the way the fire crackled differently now, less like laughter, more like sighs. Outside her window, time moved softly. A breeze might kiss the curtains. An owl might call. But within her chamber, only the slow scratching of her quill filled the silence, and oh, how powerful that silence was, for no reply ever came, and yet she answered everything, every fear, every doubt, every ache tucked behind her ribs. The villagers whispered. She's lost her mind, they said. But the housekeeper knew better. Each morning, she found the parchment gently folded, sealed with a wax crest, an old sigil no longer in use, and each morning, Lady Elsbeth would walk to the cliff's edge and release the letter into the wind. It was madness, perhaps, or so. Evenings she would rest her head upon the desk, surrounded by open scrolls and the scent of cloves. She would whisper to the still air, "You never replied, but somehow, I always understood. You." And perhaps that was enough. The ink she used lingered sweet in the air, like spiced memory. Clove for strength, gallnut for permanence, honey for a longing. Some said if you held one of her letters close to your chest, you'd feel your own silence unravel. No one ever read her words. The silence she left behind. It spoke to everyone in that silence, lived forgiveness, grief, hope, and all the love she could. Never speak aloud. Lady Elsbeth never needed noise to be heard. Her calm became her courage, her quiet, her clarity, and so each night she continued. Not for answers, not for reply. Yes. And as her story settles into your mind like soft snowfall, feel yourself drift. Let the hush wrap around you like a velvet cloak. Let go of every word left unsaid. Let the stillness say it for you. Let silence hold you, heal you, and hear you. For in this world of noise and rush, the truest things are spoken. In whispers and sometimes, Kumoshi sabs, Bulan jawab, hadi hai. She sleep now. You've spoken enough. Let the silence take it from here. Asterisks begin from the still hush of twilight. The candle has burned lower now. Its golden wax trails like soft tears down the side of its copper holder. You're still here, quiet, still, safe. The hush around you has deepened, hasn't it? The air feels heavier, but not with burden, with softness, with dreams. And so we return, back to the silent manor, where Lady Elsbeth's ink still glows faintly under the amber light of twilight. Tonight, the wind howls more boldly. Shutters rattle gently, not in warning, but in memory. Lady Elsbeth sits by the hearth this time. Her hands are wrapped in wool, her lap full of folded letters, each one scented faintly with the past. She does not read them. She does not need to. Each word lives within her, now memorized in muscle, etched into the soul. The night she wrote to Sir Seelan, he had once told her, "A sword speaks once, a letter speaks forever." And that is why she continued to write, because silence when written becomes sacred. When sealed in wax and sent into wind, it becomes a prayer. Tonight's letter begins slower. My beloved Seelan, I saw a boy in the orchard today. I climbed the old apple tree you once painted red with your foolish laughter. And for a moment, I thought it was you. The ink flows with more honey tonight, thicker, richer, slower. She pauses often now. Not because the words don't come, but because the ache behind them grows heavier. Stars have shifted. She writes next. You no longer form the sword you used to trace on my arm. Do you remember that? You'd say the constellations were just quiet warriors waiting for night to fall. The fire cracks, the wood sighs as it burns. Fox crosses the garden path unnoticed. Inside, silence grows bolder. Lady Elsbeth seals the parchment with a rose-shaped wax stamp. She doesn't rise. Not tonight. Instead, she closes her eyes and holds the letter against her chest, as if pressing it there will somehow send it further than wind ever could. And perhaps it does. Perhaps in some corner of the world a knight stirs in his dreams and feels the warmth of her words beneath his ribs. You see, silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of everything. It's too delicate to name. When Elsbeth was young, she had feared silence. She once said, asterisk, asterisk. It's like walking through a fog where no one calls your name. But now, she understood. Now, silence was her sanctuary, her language, her shield. There had been a time when letters arrived at her doorstep, stained with dust, marked in haste, Seelan's handwriting unmistakable. I ride tonight. The road is cruel, but I live. Stars here are foreign. I miss the shape of home. Then the letter stopped. No explanation, no seal, no final goodbye, only the vast echo of silence. And yet, Elsbeth never raised her voice to the wind. She never begged the hills to return him, never blamed the ravens for forgetting the way. She answered his silence with her own. But where his silence was absence, hers became presence. Presence of love, of memory, of heartbreak stitched back together over and over. Each letter she wrote was not an anchor, but a lantern. She did not seek to drag him home, only to keep the path lit, should he ever choose to return. And maybe that is what silence teaches us most: to love without possession, to speak without reply, to be heard without echo. Her chamber, lined with soft parchment and empty vials, began to hum softly with every letter sealed. The ink jars were nearly dry now, but Elsbeth did not worry, for even if the ink ran out, her silence would write on the wind outside. The stars blinked, not cold but kind, and inside, a woman wrapped herself in silence and was never alone again. Sleep, dear listener. Let it hold you, let it hold you. Let it say what words never could. For you see, Kamoshi sobs Bulan Jawab Hoti Hai. Asterisk, the night has deepened now. The world outside is steeped in a velvet quiet. Even the wind has hushed its breath, and the stars, they hang lower tonight like they've come closer just to listen. You're still here, soft, safe, suspended in the warmth of a story where time folds gently and the heart remembers and whispers. Lady Elsbeth has not spoken a word aloud in days. Her ink speaks for her, and her silence has long become her voice. Tonight, the manor sleeps, the hearths. Fire glows like a heartbeat in the stone belly of the room. The clock has forgotten to tick. Even the mice beneath the floor seem to tiptoe softer now. Elsbeth's chamber smells of clove. Its old books and candle smoke a scent like remembering. She doesn't rush. She never does. She walks with care. As if even her footsteps carry ink, at her side the quill awaits. And beside it, a fresh parchment rests between two rose petals, faded but fragrant. She lights a new candle. Its flame flickers once, twice, then settles, like her breath, like her thoughts. Then she begins. Dearest Seelin, there is a fog over the meadow tonight. It reminds me of the morning you left. How the world seemed unsure, blurring. The horizon. But I remember your back, straight, silent, certain. I wonder if the fog stayed with you too. Her pen pauses. She stares out the window. The moon is high, full, and golden, like a coin from the heavens. It lights the empty road that winds beyond the trees. The gardenias bloomed early this year, she writes next. They always followed your voice more than the sun. They're quieter. Now, perhaps waiting like me. She dips the quill once more into the honeyed ink that warms with memory. You may wonder why she keeps writing. Why pour out words when there is no reply? But love is not a trade, and grief. Grief is not a wound that begs to be bandaged. It is a river, and it must flow. For if she were to silence her heart completely, what would become of all that? Still beats for him? So she writes, and she dreams. Not of his return, but of his peace. I don't know where you are, my love, but I know asterisk, asterisk.